Big good one here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, help promote and rank up my channel. I cover a lot of Marvel and DC comic book superhero related things in TV and movie. And I also cover anything with strong pop culture roots and nostalgia, things that I'm passionate about, such as Jurassic Park, Ghostbusters, or even Wonder Years. Wonder Years is getting a reboot starring Black Family. It's in development for ABC. Now, here's the catch. The reason they're dragging out Wonder Years is because it's proven successful in the past. Wonder Years was successful. Hollywood is lazy. They lack it's not that they actually lack creativity, it's that the suits don't want to take too much of a risk. But when they do things like this, they actually are taking more of a risk than they realize by turning off the original audience. Their mentality is, we can get the original audience back and bring in newbies. And that doesn't actually often work. What you end up doing is spitting on the original audience, pissing them off, because we're tired of everything being drug up from the past. We are tired of everything beloved being drug up, remade. We want new stuff. We want creativity, and these things stand the test of time. These things right here stand the test of time, and we can still go back and watch them the way they are. That is why they are so beloved. But Hollywood likes to remake and reboot everything, and and because of all, maybe this is happening because the BLM stuff, that they chose a black family, and because they've done the same thing with Charmed. And they've talked about doing the same thing with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Black lead, all black cast, something to that effect. And Charmed, you can see what happened over here when they brought back Charmed. Critics love it. Yeah, critics praise it. Audiences, do they? No. Audiences are not very fond of this stuff when you just bring back something and put your own spin on it, like, oh, all the characters are black now. That's really the only difference. We're going to run with the same title and everything, and there's the only real difference is going to be that the characters are a different race. I don't actually know much about this Charm because I refuse to watch it. You're going to drag up something it's like when they race change superheroes. Now, I don't think that these are actually the same Charmed characters from the original series and that they're actually race changed, but it is like race changing characters. It all started with race changing characters. Now they're doing all these all black reboots, and it's just really weird and off putting when you take something like this and you just slap people in there that are of a different skin color, use the title and everything to cash in. It's like tokenizing. When they always race change, they never actually pull the black characters from comic books because they're not the most popular and most famous. Instead, when they adapt them, they race change the most popular and most famous characters. Of course, the secondary most popular and famous characters, they race change them for live action screen. They usually don't go for the main character like a Superman, a Batman, or an Iron Man. They usually have just secondary characters race changed. So you can see why they would want to reboot Wonder Years. It's that 90% average audience score. Like I said, this is something that's proven to work. It's proven successful. Hollywood doesn't like to take risk anymore. They don't like to take risk on giving you something fresh and new. No, they want to take something that works, reboot it, remake it, and cash in on it. And I don't think this is going to work out the way they want it to. And I've looked over this article. So Lee Daniels is helming a reboot of ABC's The Wonder Years with the new series starring a black Alabama family in the 1960s. So basically, you're just going to take the title card. You could have done your own show starring a black family in this time period. and people wouldn't even have to know that you just copied and pasted the formula of Wonder Years. They wouldn't have to know because most people wouldn't know. The new audiences, your new audiences, they're not gonna know, and your old audience is gonna see this as just another reboot, just an insult. So ABC is developing a reboot, The Wonder Years, which will focus on the 1960s black middle class family. What? A black middle class family in the 60s? Oh, what about what about white privilege? What? And this show's going to be full of all kinds of racial propaganda, and that's really the point, to further push your narrative. But the main point of doing a reboot with an all-black cast is so if the audience doesn't actually like it, they can argue that it's not the show that sucks, it's the audience that sucks, and that the audience is racist because they don't like it. That's become a thing in Hollywood. And that's why they're doing this right here. That's why they're doing this. So, according to Variety, Lee Daniels will executive produce alongside Mark Valles. Saladin K. Patterson will write and also executive produce the series. Original series star Fred Savage, who played Kevin Arnold, will return to direct the pilot. The new reboot of The Wonder Years is set in the same time period as the original ABC series, which took place between 1968 and 73 and ran for 6 seasons from 1988 to 1993. 6 seasons. It was a beloved show, and I don't see this new one working out that way, but it will draw in new audiences. It definitely will, because there's going to be a lot of people that don't even recognize that this is a reboot and all that. And there's going to be a lot of people that never saw the original, and they're not really going to care. But for people that did see the original, and I really, like I said, I don't really see the point, because you could have made a whole different show without having a reboot. We're sick of everything being rebooted, remade. Why can't we just make new stuff? And nobody would have noticed if you just came out with a show with, this show under a different title. Nobody would have noticed that it is actually a reboot or a spin-off or whatever you want to call it. Nobody would have noticed. You could have copy-pasted formula of Wonder Years and all that. Not many people would have noticed. But it is cool that they got Fred Savage in there to actually direct the first episode. But the point is, this really isn't going to have anybody in front of the camera that gives it real strong ties, is it, to the other series that makes it where you had to make it a reboot. So with audiences tuning in every week to watch Ben Savage as Kevin Arnold, Wonder Years, it just talks about the cast, the characters, and all that. But my point here being is that this is just Hollywood continuing to be lazy, taking anything nostalgic and rebooting it to cash in on it because that audience score. You can see that audience score, how beloved Wonder Years is. They want to cash in on that. And if it doesn't work out, they can call you racist because they're choosing to go with an all-black family. So, that's been the mentality of Hollywood. So, when you don't like it, it's not because the show it's not because the show sucks. It's because you're racist. That's going to be their argument, and that's probably why they're going with it all. And they're, it's Hollywood supporting that whole BLM thing. They're really supportive of the whole BLM thing. Well, they virtue signal like they are, but they're doing this to try to further cash in on all this stuff that's going on. But as you can see, look. I used to record this for my mother, the original Charmed. They rebooted it with an all-black cast. They've been talking about rebooting Buffy with an all-black cast or a black lead at the least. And this doesn't usually turn out great for them. You can see the audience score, 38%. the tomato meter, though. Critics love this type of stuff. Critics love it when you pretty much just hand something built up from a white person to a black person. It's reparations. It's reparations. Some people really eat this stuff up. Some people just don't think anything of it. That I see what they're doing here, and really, it's just the laziest form of entertainment you can think of. And it's the laziest form of virtue signaling you can think of. And they've got their embedded defense. So, if you don't like the new Charmed with the all-black cast, because you had strong feelings for the original Charmed, and you had strong feelings for the original Charmed. You loved the show and all that. You see no reason for them to reboot it because it still holds up today. But they rebooted it and they changed everything up. And if you didn't like it, well, who cares? Who cares? You're racist for not liking it. That's usually their argument. And that's never the case. Film is art. And art stands the test of time. But they're looking at it for the money. The money. If they can reboot this thing, cash in on it, but if it fails, then they have their defense mechanism that says, well, you're racist, you're sexist, you're something this or that for not liking it. And really, they don't have to actually put in a lot of effort and creativity to come up with something fresh. They don't have to take the risk. They know this is something that's proven to work in the past, and they can cash in on it. And if it doesn't work, well, guess what? You're racist. You're sexist. You're something, because Hollywood can't be held accountable anymore. Accountability before entertainment. That's what Ray Fisher said before his NDA made him shut his mouth and say he can't talk about it. And then he started putting entertainment before accountability. Or maybe you can look at it as he put a personal accountability before entertainment. But still, a lot of people don't believe in the stuff they preach, and Hollywood's one of them. And I'm very curious. What do people think of this? Are you going to tune in for this? Are you going to watch it? Do you think you'll like it? It could actually be good. I'll give it that. But still, it's completely unnecessary. They're running with the Wonder Years title, having an all-black cast. You're clearly not going to be able to have any of the characters from the original show, the age they wore, on this show featured on there. Whether this is a reboot or a spin-off, it doesn't really matter. It could be any show in the world. Why does it have to be the Wonder Years? Why does it have to carry that title? It's just really strange. Let me know your comments and comment down below. Let me know your opinions on this. What do you think of this? Did you like the original Wonder Years? Is it a beloved show for you? Do you have strong feelings for that and wish that they just leave it in the past? Because film is art, and art stands the test of time. It doesn't have to be refreshed like a damn web page or something all the time. That's all Hollywood does anymore, is reboot everything. Even if it wasn't successful, we're going to reboot it and try again. But that's where we are now. Anyway, stay good one here. Eventually we will like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Stay awesome. Rock on.